Hey, it's Avi. Check out this part of this art song I wrote. Right, so that voice playback isn't great. I'm Avi. Welcome back to May Melody Madness, where I'm celebrating the release of my first course, the Just Right Music Melody Mastery Mini Course. Today, I'm going to talk about how you can find the melody that's straight up hiding in your lyrics. And the way I'm going to do that is by showing you how I set these lines right here. So let's look at the words on their own, right over here. On one of my regimented walks by the river, I was fortunate enough. I already introduced some rhythmic figures that I decided to utilize in the vocal melody itself, particularly the intro to the bass over here. So we have the dotted quarter note followed by another dotted quarter note, or in this case, for notation's sake, an eighth note tied to a quarter note, and then just a regular quarter note, right? So we mimic that same rhythmic figure here. Dotted quarter note, then just a quarter note. Then we have this ba, 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 regimented walks. We're still using these dotted figures, but now we're zooming into the rhythmic subdivision to tackle these multisyllabic words. Regimented. Here's where things get a little bit tough, and this is where you really want to pay attention to linguistic stress, making sure that words are being set naturally in the language. And we can do this by lining up strong words with the downbeat. A great kind of almost Mickey Mousey example of this is the word on. The word on comes in literally on the downbeat. That one's a really almost obvious example. It's obvious things like this that you can use that actually play out far more subtly than you think. Most of the time we don't think about things like this, but the more logic, more ways you can find to connect the text with the music that you're setting it in, the easier your job is going to be. The more logic, the more you're able to play off of the rules you're creating as you go. On one of my regimented walks. So regimented here, this is, I could argue, maybe not the best setting of the word regimented, because we have beat 3 over here. We're in 4/4 and mented in the word regimented. Notice where the accent is on that word, regimented. That is a front-loaded accent. Regimented, as opposed to regimented, which is sort of where I am setting it. I'm placing the accent here because mented is on the 3rd beat. However, I was kind of attached to this rhythmic figure, so I made it work. And it's not the worst, but it's not also the best. That's one of the things I kind of made a tactical decision there to say, okay, I'm going to leave that the way it is, especially because fortunate enough did work quite well. And I wanted to have this rhythmic pairing between these two lines. Speaking of, let's go ahead and look at fortunate enough really quick. I was fortunate enough. Very downbeat heavy for sure, right? Fortunate. 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 Perfect. The downbeat is on 4. Fortunate. The next downbeat is on the next biggest accent for that word. Fortunate. I was fortunate enough. Same thing with enough. The E over here is on this D, this 16th note, and then enough right there is on the 3rd beat, which is the next biggest strong beat in 4/4. Fortunate enough. Literally think about the way I'm saying that. I'm going to say that a little bit slower. Fortunate enough. By taking note of where the stresses are in words like this, you can just start to map out where they are going to be in your timetable, in your beat mapping. You can do this in notation software like this. You can do this in a DAW, no problem. You can do this just with pencil and paper, or right here in a text document, just by doing something like on, create an underline like that, on one of my, that's something, my regimented, right? So then maybe regimented is supposed to be big, so maybe right? Regimented, like that. Separate out the syllables of them like this. This can really help you understand where the stresses are in the words that you're setting. those syllables in the words themselves are going to start creating the rhythm of your melody for you. And that's really cool. For better or worse, that can be really fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't have to just abide by what's happening and abide by the words of the rhythm as they appear in cadential speech. It is a really nice starting point. You can use that, maybe blow up the rhythm of how it might sound more conversationally, and that can lead to some really beautiful moments. For case in point, right here, golden hour light, da 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 da, golden hour light. That's exactly what I did for golden hour light right here, and that is just such a beautiful moment. That led me to the harmony over here. All of this stuff, it just gives you more and more fodder for ideas. Super cool. So let the syllables and the linguistic stress of the words and the text that you're setting, let that be your guide. Let that do the heavy lifting for you. And then everything just feels so natural, even in weird music like this that I'm making. So there you go. That is how you can start formulating your melody using the words and the text that you already have written down for your project or your song or whatever's happening with you're working on, that you want to work on, that you want to do the music thing for. If you want more tools like this, want to get your melodies and want to make them more effective, check out my free guide, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. If you want to go even further than that and learn the same tools that masters of past and present use, check out my debut online mini course, the Just Write Music Melody Mastery mini course. You can learn more about both of those below. There's a link down in the doobly-doo. However, if you just want to hang out with me here on YouTube, that is totally cool. Check out the video that's popping up on your screen right now, and that will answer the age-old question of whether or not you can write an original melody over chords that you straight up stole from another song. Thanks for watching, for hanging out with me today. I'm Avi. Don't forget to be awesome.